One of the most interesting things about life is what happens when you upgrade your mindset. When you upgrade, evolve, change the way that you think about yourself, the world around you responds as a natural consequence. If you are, let me just give you an example. Let's say you lack boundaries, you lack discipline, you're a people pleaser, you're chasing validation or seeking validation. You're the type of person who maybe you feel like a savior. You always want to help people, support people. That type of person thinks the world is a particular way, and they think a particular way about themselves. I read this great book a long time ago that I try to read every year. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics. And one of the central themes of the book is that who you are comes from your self-image, how you perceive yourself, the image of yourself. And so if you see yourself as, and this is just hypothetical, you can see yourself as a bunch of different things, but let's just stick with what I named because those people typically create a lower vibration energetically in their life. So let's just say you're a savior, you're a people pleaser, right? You have a lack of boundaries. You have a lack of discipline. There's going to be patterns and instances in your life that occur over and over and over. And the patterns and the instances in your life, they follow the self-image that you have about yourself. So if you peel back and you look at your life, one, you're going to see a bunch of patterns, a lot of patterns. Patterns are not good or bad. That's how we live as humans. We create patterns. But the objective is to observe the patterns just briefly in the past. And some of the patterns from your past have created the life that you currently are living in. And that may be great for a lot of people. That may give you a lot of benefits, a lot of blessings, a lot of opportunity, a lot of joy and love. And it also may bring you a lot of grief and sorrow and sadness, and regret and anger. And so there's nothing else we can do about the past. The past has been completed. There's really only two things you can do about the past. You can look back objectively, try to gather data and learn from the data so you can make different decisions to change patterns. That's the first thing you can do. And the second thing you can do is you can bring some gratitude to your journey and to your experience and some appreciation to who you were at that moment and give yourself closure by thinking and feeling that you were the best version of yourself at that time. Even though now you're looking back and you're like, nah, there's no way that was the best version of me. Perhaps it's true that at that time, that past version of you, that might have been the best version of you at that time. And I frame it that way because it does us no justice to look at our story and induce a great deal of shame or anger at who we were or mistakes that we made or things that we didn't get right or didn't do. In fact, it's probably more advantageous for you to bring gratitude and grace and appreciation to past you, putting a demarcation like, hey, that's old me. Now it's a new me. I have a new self-image now. I have a new image of myself. And in this image of myself, I don't behave the way that I used to. I don't make those mistakes that I used to. Now, if we're going back to the person who lacks boundaries, lacks discipline, is a people pleaser, is a savior, for that person, because I wanted to give you an example to kind of show you how this looks. So for that person, they first must make a decision. And that decision is that you're going to change your self-image. Now, this can happen on so many different levels. This can happen physically, the way that you dress. It could be the way that you do your hair. You could get rid of all your clothing from when you were a boundaryless, people-pleasing savior and get all new clothing, because that does create literally a new self-image. You could change your self-image by, let's say you grew up in Los Angeles, California. Perhaps you could move to Paris, France. Perhaps you move to Medellin, Colombia, and you go to a completely different environment because your environment can dictate that. You see my little library right here that I'm building. Perhaps you download some books and you grab some books that can give you new information or maybe new stories or new ideas about how you can perceive yourself, about how you can show up in the world. Perhaps you take up different practices that support neuroplasticity, like creating a clear vision for what you want to do, writing it out every single day, or writing it once and then putting it on something like a whiteboard right here behind me. And that way you see it every day. I'm no longer a people pleaser, or I don't drink alcohol, or I save money, or I'm kind to myself, or well, whatever it may be for you. You just writing your new self-image, or writing it once where you can just read it every day. Well, what happens when you decide that you want a new self-image, you want to see yourself in a new way? There's a friction that happens because you're holding on to two dualities: the duality of the life that you had and got you here up to this point, and then the curiosity and the fear of the unknown of what's to come. That's a new duality for you. Like you're living in the dualistic perspective of what's to come, what was, and perhaps even what is now. And so when you're here, when you're in this space, this is a difficult space to be in. This is a difficult space to be in because you have who you were, you can see where you're going, but right now you're in the middle space. We can call that middle space the liminal space. The liminal space is the transition, the transitional space in between. So the way that I like to talk to my clients about this, like to help them visualize, is think back when you were younger, and maybe you still go do this, or maybe you have kids and you get to enjoy this, but think back to the playground, and there's a specific tool on the playground called the monkey bars. And I just want you to do this real quick. If you're on the monkey bars, put your arms up right now, right? If you're on the monkey bars, well, what can you do? Well, if you're just holding it, you could probably just do a pull-up, which keeps you, in the same place. I guess you're just going up and down, but you're not moving forward or backwards. But for the sake of our analogy, let's say you wanted to move forward. Well, what would you have to do on the monkey bars? You have to get momentum and you have to let go of one of these hands. Now, one hand is going to hold on for a second. Again, this is the duality that we're painting between who you were and where you're going, or where you are and where you're going. Either way is a duality. But one of those hands has to let go and one has to hold on. So if let's just do simple math. Let's just say that's 50-50. Half of you can hold on. But if there's a new life you want to build, if there's a new identity you want to build, if there's a new person you want to become, if there's new heights and new achievements that you want to create in your life, if you think you can hold on 100% to where you are at this exact moment, you won't be able to. The only thing you can hold on to at this exact moment is if you're trying to stay consistent with what you've built, who you are, and where you are. If you're trying to go forward and create and build and become a new person, become a new identity, you're going to have 50% of you will have to hold on for sure, because that's just realistic. You're not about to get rid of everything about you. But this other hand has to let go, because that's the only way you can move forward. And once you move forward, that's how you get through those monkey bars, right? So this is a reminder to you. If you found this video, you're probably in the middle of a transition right now. And we'll close with this. You don't need all the answers to make the decision. You can research all you want on YouTube. You can ask all the people you want on your Instagram. You can text all your friends and ask them about it. This is your life. You have one precious, valuable, important, awesome life. This is your life. Make your decision. Release that handlebar. Release the monkey bar. And go forward. Go forward. Go forward. And then once you feel stable in the next space, then you can stop. Then you can use your two hands and you can do your pull-ups and you can build that consistency and that effort in where you are once you feel like you've arrived at that point. And if you think about it, life is really like that. You're in a transition, you arrive, you build at where you're at, transition again.